All right, we are live.
Okay, cool. This week, leadership and collaboration. I think, and it's funny that this is like one of the last ones because I think this is a huge like a huge point for you where you're very strong as far as just collaboration as a whole. And I guess I'm kind of biased with that because that's how we really met,
Hmm.
collaborating with just play works and physical education to try to do the best during recess and even during some classes when you're doing classroom playtime. Um, guess I can just go ahead with the elements of the standard. The first one, which was involvement in school efforts. Obviously, you're doing a great job. If I were to rate you on that, I would definitely give you a 4. I noticed 4 things that you said. The first one was that many times people already assume that you're involved in things before you agree to it. Welcome to the PE world. Just anything that has anything to do with like the facilities or if the gym is going to be used or anything, you're automatically lumped into it,
Hmm.
and that's just what it is going to be. And if you don't mind, go ahead and be a part of it. But if you do mind, make sure that people know ahead of time that this is not you, because they will be coming up to you asking you for everything, which you already know, which I know you're getting right now. The second one was the PBIS events, which is huge. And I think that there's going to be a huge PBIS push in all of our ward schools
Hmm.
for the ones that don't already have it, because discipline is an issue. So definitely continue to help and strengthen those. And I know I'm not sure how it is at Turner, but most of the events happen in the gym.
Yes,
That's
we just
so
had one
yeah,
on Friday.
yep, on those Fridays in the gym. So that works out because that's something that's not going anywhere.
Hmm.
Like the school culture aspect is going to be huge pushing forward with DC. I don't know if you're getting. Are you getting the emails yet?
Not yet. Well, I mean, I get emails, but emails
Right.
from who?
The emails they'll be like from the mayor
Yeah,
or
yeah, I get those.
yeah, like it's a huge school culture push that they got going on now. The next one was huge. The new health and wellness committee. And I think that's everywhere in the ward too, because I got an email about that too.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if Savoy's doing it, but when I go to Henley, if they're doing it, I'm definitely going to jump on that team just because
Okay.
I have a background in that and I'd love to help out with that. And the fact that you're co-leading that is huge. Now, is the other PE teacher there co-leading that too?
I doubt it.
I doubt it. Yeah, I mean, it would be good for him too, but it's going to take actual work. So
Well, that's why I
I,
said I
I,
wanted to be co-leader since I have so many other like responsibilities. I didn't want to take sole responsibility, so I wanted to, split up the responsibility and whoever decides to take that.
oh,
Um,
definitely a good move. Yeah, that's a great move. Yeah. That's one thing that please learn from my mistakes. Doing too much will pull away from your teaching.
mhm,
And gradually get into it once you know the students. Like I think me coaching my first year was a mistake.
mhm,
Just because I should have just gotten to know the students a little bit more. And if I knew the students a little bit more, I think I could have allocated my time towards coaching more.
right,
It's like I had to drop off coaching my second year just because I had so much going on.
mhm,
The third thing I saw, and we have like the same duties too. You're one of the monitors for breakfast, recess, and dismissal.
mhm.
Now, since is that all recesses every day, or how does that work?
So I have second through fifth grade,
Hmm.
but the way that works is I don't I get to leave kind of like 10 minutes before the fifth grade recess is over since everybody has their own individual recess. I don't have to do K1 because that's my lunch break. And I leave 10 minutes before fifth grade is done so I can prepare for my 145 class. And because on Wednesdays we have 5 classes, then I do not have to recess duty at all. So there's only one day a week where I don't have duty.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Got you. So, do other specialist teachers have duty on certain days, or do all the teachers have duty on certain days?
All the specials teachers get recess duty.
Okay.
I'm going to talk to them next year about the breakfast duty. I don't want to do breakfast duty because I rather prepare for my class, and because I have equipment to move,
That's
I kind of need
huge.
that time. So I asked him, and I was like, I need at least 15, 20 minutes. So what he said was do breakfast duty and leave at like 8:25.
Mm.
And 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but depending on what I'm doing, the eight leaving at 8:25, the teachers pick them up at 8:30, and then from 8:30 to 8:45, they might bring them into the gym.
Mm-hmm.
and then wait for 8:45 for me to start my class. And sometimes that's just a distraction. So
It's a lot, and sometimes they'll leave them.
yes, or the teachers will be late and they're like, "Can you come and pick them up?" But then I have nobody to watch them while I'm
Exactly.
supposed to be setting up.
Not just physical education, because I just don't want to limit it to that, but any specials teacher, period, that has different grade levels in between their classes
Mhm.
needs at least 15 minutes
Right.
just to get your mind together, to review your lesson plans if you have them written on your phone, wherever, for setup and breakdown, especially in the gym, because you never know. We might have hula hoops everywhere. We know, we might have station work to do, and we can't do that if students are sitting in line or if you're running back from breakfast duty. And let's say you have to deal with something in breakfast duty, then you have
Right.
absolutely no time to prepare. So it's a. I've dealt with that too, which is an issue, and that's just a scheduling thing. Um, I also saw at the end that you look forward to contributing more to like the school-wide effort to engage parents,
Mhm.
and that's huge.
Are
Without
you
parent
all at
support, we
Flamboyant?
discuss.
Are you all going to
Yes,
be okay?
and that's Savoy and Henley.
Okay.
They're both going to be, yeah. So definitely, it's one of those situations that it's needed. That flamboyant is going to be huge. Those home visits. So you all have every person in your school doing home visits.
Yes, that's what I was told.
Okay, okay. It's cool. I know you got to do at least from 3 to 6. I don't know how
They
many home
said
visits you got.
6 for us.
Right, right. I know it depends on the school and the support that you have. So that was awesome. I definitely give you like a 4 for involvement in school efforts if I were to be rating you. School as organizations. I saw in here that you said that you feel like the school system has so many layers that it can be like a little difficult to get concrete ideas of what should be going on.
Mhm.
My second year being in the TLI program and DCPS definitely opened my eyes up to a lot of things that shouldn't and should be going on in the schools.
Right.
The one thing that I can tell you is that all schools are ran differently.
Mhm.
Through the budget, through scheduling, leave, planning time, and meetings, whether they're doing them after school, during school, before school, they're all ran differently, and it depends on the principal.
Mhm.
Now, the one thing of advice that I have to give you is to review all of DCPS policies. And I literally mean go on DCPS's website and read everything
Mhm.
between your leave, discipline procedures, get really acclimated with your handbook, because at the end of the day, if it's not in black and white, it really doesn't matter. And DCPS is so large and deals with so many different types of schools, whether it's the educational campus, elementary school, a middle school, and a high school. It's a lot.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those situations where you gotta know your policies and know your rights. And
So I
that's
have a
one.
question. This is something that
Yeah.
I was told, not something that I'm
Uh-huh.
comfortable doing, but the person that
Mhm.
I work with was like, "Oh, if they give you a class that's not on your regular schedule." So there was time scheduled for school support in my schedule this year.
Mhm.
And say there's a teacher out and they plug in a class for that school support. He was like, if that class is not on your regular schedule, you can literally sit them down for the whole class and you don't have to do anything with them.
That is true. But, and this is a big but, it's one of those issues where do you really want to get into that with your principal? And what I mean by that is if you want to go by the book, just understand that your principal moving forward is going to go by the book.
Mhm.
So anytime that you're 2 minutes late, that's a mark off on your impact score.
Mhm.
Anytime that you're 2 minutes late for duty, if you have to leave early and there's an issue, if you want to take sick leave and you don't have sick leave, just realize that an administrator will remember those type of things. And if you literally are tired and can't take that class, then make sure that you convey it in a way that the principal will understand. Like, look, I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers, but I haven't eaten lunch yet. It's one of those type of
Mhm.
things. Don't just I would never suggest just taking the class and sitting them down, especially when
Your
you're in one of those
sound is kind of
situations like
going.
physical education. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Keep talking.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I would never suggest just sitting a class down, especially in like PE. Now, if that's happened to me before,
Mhm.
but I'll let people know straight up, I'm not teaching them. I have the ability to leave out equipment and let them play like an organized game, or let them have like an extra recess.
Right.
But if this is something that I haven't planned for, don't expect them to be taught.
Right.
That's one of those things. But when you're like refusing a class and having them sit down the whole time, especially for 45 minutes, you're opening up a box. Like you're opening up something that you might not necessarily be able to close. So I wouldn't suggest that.
No, I wouldn't do it. I would, I've set up recess stations in the past. Like it's, trial and error.
Right.
One day where I had 2 classes and I had no idea. I tried to, I guess, teach and it was just a mess. So I figured because I know recess, I just set up recess stations and that's worked a lot better. But I wouldn't be comfortable myself with being like, well, this ain't my regular class anyway. Y'all sit down and be quiet.
Right. Obviously, that's one of those things that you don't want to be a regular occurrence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of those things. If you need a favor as a principal 1 or 2 times, you got 10 people that called out. There's an emergency. You're being observed, something like that. Those are things that principals don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we have? Still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Respect for families. The one thing you saw was flamboyant, which was awesome. Another one was parent nights, community events, and family fun nights. Now with flamboyant, you're going to be doing some of the home visits, right?
Yes.
Make sure, one tip that I always do when I do home visits is I keep my recorder on my phone.
Okay.
Now, your recorder you're not going to be able to use it like in court or anything like that
Mm-hmm.
unless you tell them that it's on. But in the case that something happens to you or something like crazy happens in someone's house, you always have it recorded on your phone.
Right.
So it's one of those type of things that I like to do whenever I'm dealing with any type of parent or children outside like the school.
Mm-hmm.
And that may seem like a little excessive for other people, but you always want to cover yourself, especially where we are. And it's getting crazy out here.
Yes.
It really is getting crazy. And I know that especially the parents that accept the home visits, they're not going to be the ones where something happens to you. But you got to realize these kids live in apartments and there's hallways, things happen all the time in broad daylight.
Mm-hmm.
So just be careful as you can with that. One thing that I really saw that was powerful in your respect to families portion was to be present and be pleasant. You said greeting them upon arrival and wishing them well at dismissal. That's your key to success right there. Literally, it's a benefit to be like the first person they see, and a benefit to like tell them have a good night, I'll see you in the morning, because those kids are going to want to come to you, and that's where the relationships actually are built, not in class, but asking them little things. In the morning breakfast duty, we both used to do it. Just walk around, talk to them a little bit. That's like the key, because if I didn't have those personal relationships, I wouldn't necessarily be able to stop those kids that are throwing chairs or doing the crazier things.
Right.
Because I don't have a relationship with them. And the people that don't do that are like looking at me like, how did you get them to stop? Well, I know that kid. I know their parents.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those type of things that you really got to do, especially being newer to Turner.
I think
I really like
what
what you're
helped
doing
me.
with Respect for Families, and I will give you a 3 on necessarily haven't happened yet,
Mm-hmm.
which is like flamboyant for next year.
Okay. Yeah, I think I got one. Those
Yeah.
principles that I got for like respecting families is what I learned from Mr. Singor. So seeing him interact and shake every kid's hand that came through the door in the morning and just being like really just firm but respectful and pleasant, and I never heard him raise his voice. So those are the type of things, even though like I'm small, but I try to embody to be pleasant and be, at least I give him, dap in the morning because hands are just everywhere. But just to say hello, to let them know that I see you. I'm glad you're here. And then I can also be like, where were you yesterday? Where's your sister? Type deal. And, the parents that come in, I say good morning to them as well.
Exactly. It's huge. And I learned that from him too. I definitely took that from him, took notes from that. So I'm doing it every morning. I'll give you a 3-2 for advocating for students. I saw that you mentioned like for them to have recess and let them know they're not bad despite what others may tell them. That really like strikes a nerve with me because like recess technically shouldn't be taken away ever.
Right.
And as like a physical educator, like promoter of like healthy lifestyles, please continue like to promote like them taking away recess as a last resort
Mm-hmm.
at Turner. I don't know. Each teacher has their own thing, and I know recess is just snatched all the time. But continue to tell people like do not take away their recess. They're gonna need it. You know, if anything, use it as an incentive.
Mm-hmm.
You might be able to take them out more if they behave. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I like that advocating for students. I think you're doing a great job. I know this one was a short one, but I really don't have many tips for you. Like in DCPS, it's one of those you'll never be prepared until you're there
Mm-hmm.
type of deals, and especially in one of our ward schools, just in Southeast. Period, you gotta kind of live it, and you're like student teaching and teaching at the same time. So if there's always when we have these videos, I always want to make sure you know like any resources, any questions you have for me, please let me know. Did Mike reach out to you yet?
No.
Not yet. Okay. Okay. I know it's Memorial Day weekend and everything, so give it a few days. If he hasn't, and by next Friday, let me know, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
call him directly. I didn't want to bother him too much, so I just sent him an email, but I'll call him directly.
Okay, great, great, great. But
Not a problem.